Good morning, Flip Your Life community. Shane and Jocelyn here on this amazing Friday morning.
Hello.
What is today? December
28th.
28th. So, Jocelyn, if you could just type in the chat, we are live. Testing our mic. We are not turning on the camera today. We have company here. My brother and his kids spent the night last night, and we were up really late, and we've not had time to get fixed up this morning, guys. So we are not going to turn on the camera this morning.
Yeah, Shane's hair looks like crazy. It's sticking up everywhere. So I don't think anybody wants to see that.
I know, right? I'm still in my pajamas, and so we're going to chill out and just talk to you guys. Have a great Q&A. All we need is the audio anyway, so don't worry about the camera right now. I'm going to check real quick in the chat room. If you can hear me, type yes, and we will make sure that we are broadcasting live to everybody. It looks good on my end. So as soon as I get audio confirmation from anyone in the chat, we will get moving forward. Got a lot of great questions today already. If you're just joining us and this is your first Flip Your Life community member call, welcome. We are super excited to have you. There's a slight delay between the audio and what you're seeing live in the chat room. So please go ahead and type in your questions now. We will get to as many questions as possible in the next little bit together. Looks like we've got plenty of audio confirmation, so we are live and ready to go. Okay. All right. We're going to talk a lot about online business today. Got a couple big announcements. You will be getting an email if you have not got it already that Flip Your Life Live tickets are on sale right now to our waiting list, and as of this morning, to the entire Flip Your Life community. We had a great first week of sales. We only have 6 VIP tickets left after the waiting list got their emails. So if you would like to get that ticket, you need to do it now. It'll probably VIP will probably be full by the weekend being over. And we do have payment plans available this year for all of the tickets. Last year, we didn't have payment plans for every single ticket price, but we do this year. We wanted to make sure that everybody could space that out if they wanted to and pay for it over time to make Flip Your Life Live a lot more affordable. Tickets are $100 cheaper this year as well. We were able to lower the cost for everybody. And the hotel itself that we're staying in is going to be cheaper on the night than it was last year in Nashville. This year's event is in Lexington, Kentucky, and we are going to and better and more fun, and we learned so much from doing it last year. Actually, this year's been really a joy to plan. It's been amazing putting it all together. It's been going really smooth, and we really think we're going to be able to pack a lot more value into the event this year too. So if you have any questions about Flip Your Life Live, you can put those in the chat today as well. A couple things that we've already had asked. It will be completely new content. This is not a recycled, rehashed event. Okay. It's completely new. We're going to change. It's going to be all about marketing and about building traffic, and the general concepts will be similar, but we're always going to update all the content brand new every year so that we can all take massive action at the event.
We always design it around what you guys need and what you ask for. So as you join in to come to the event, we will ask what you need help with, and that's how our content will be generated for the event. So
it's based on the people that are coming when we start surveying here in January.
The dates are September 19th is the first day, and it ends on the 21st in Lexington, Kentucky.
And that is a weekend this year as well. We were able to we were shocked that the weekend was last year. We had to do it during the week because it was the only dates they had. And but we were able to get a weekend date this year. So the event starts on Thursday and ends on Saturday, which leaves an easy travel day on Sunday to get back home and get ready for the next week. And it's going to be awesome. Like we're really super excited. Lexington is an amazing city. We're staying at an amazing hotel right downtown, and that's where me and Jocelyn met. So we kind of consider it our hometown, kind of, so to speak. And we're really excited to let you guys have a really good Kentucky experience. It really is one of the most beautiful cities on the planet. Like, you've never been there.
We love the live event because it gives you something to work toward. It gives you something to look forward to throughout the year. And, if you decide you're going to come like this month, it gives you 9 months to get ready. And
And,
it's really a lot of motivation and just keeps you motivated and interested in what you're doing the entire
it's a
year.
real anchor on your calendar. Like I know last year it gave us amazing focus. It was like the magnifying glass with the light shining through it, to kind of harness all that energy to one point. And we had people accomplish so much before the live event even happened because it was such a motivating factor for them to get there and be like, whoa, this is incredible. Let's do this. And then even after they had so much momentum that they kept going, it's really good to go ahead and get it on your calendar. And our event is really different than any other conference or any other live event because Jocelyn and I do trainings every single month with the attendees to make sure that they're prepared and that they're ready to take action between now and then. And when they get there, they can take action after. And we even make sure that people get to meet each other. We hold icebreaker sessions where Jocelyn and I come on, we get on live with a cohort of the people that are coming, and we, laugh and we have fun, and it's really casual, but it kind of breaks the ice before you even get there. And, I remember last year, Jocelyn and I were on like the seventh, how many floors were in that building? Like 7, 9, something like that. Top floor. And we were looking down into the courtyard as people were checking in, and nobody really knew where we were, but we were like watching people at the check-in table. And it was amazing watching people just hug who had never met. And people were coming in and like everyone was so familiar with each other that it was like a family reunion more than it was, a business conference. And that was just really, really cool to see. So, and we actually caught somebody copying it the other day. I'm going to name names at their conference, but they're starting to add these little things
like
into
training sessions.
Little training sessions. But you don't want to miss those, and those start in January. Tickets will be on sale to the general public on Monday. So right now, the waiting list has access, and only Flip Your Life community members and alumni actually have access.
And there are a few VIPs left.
There's
and
6 VIPs left.
Is like you get to spend extra time with us, and we spend more concentrated time with the people who buy
It's a limited
ticket.
amount of people, so we'll be able to actually sit down and answer some questions.
If you're interested in that, you really need to grab it now. Okay, let's get into our questions for the day. The first one is from Rocio.
Hold on one second, Jocelyn. Let me turn this fan off.
And we recently talked to her on the podcast that'll be coming out really soon. And she says, what techniques would you recommend to encourage your members to engage with you and other members? I have a beta group of 4 members. For 2 months, we had weekly office hours, but very low attendance. Only 1 member attended during that time. I recently enabled forums in my membership website to provide another option to engage. My plan is to seed that with 2 to 3 topics, and I will be pointing to these in my weekly newsletter. This should show members how online forums work and hopefully encourage interaction there.
The most important thing you can do to generate more conversation in your membership site is get more members. Okay. You're doing the right things already. You're leading, you're having member calls, you are starting topics. I would actually probably start a few more topics. I would actually challenge you to go 90 days in a row and start a topic, even if nobody else talks to you. Like I would go start a topic, ask a question, then I would be the first reply, and then I'd email it to my list. When you do your newsletter, be like 7 new topics this week. So I would probably challenge you to be a little more prolific and do that for 90 straight days to have it. That way, everybody that joins going forward will have so many topics to talk about in the forum that they can't help but jump in. People are much more likely to comment than start their own post. Okay. But really, the number one thing you can do is set a goal, get to 100 members, and get there fast. Because the more people you add, the more people will talk. And the 80-20 rule, the is always true. A very small group of people will do most of the talking, and the other 80% of the people, the 20% will do the talking, 80% will do the reading. That's just the way it is. The lurkers, right? But that's okay. That's how they consume information. That's what they want to do. And as long as they're getting value, they'll stick around. So whenever anyone asks us this, how do I get more engagement? The answer is always numbers. This is a numbers game. The reason that we have over 100,000 posts in the Flip Your Life community is because we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members, right? But if we go back and look at the stats, only 10% of people actually start posts in the general forum, and about 20 to 30% of people actually reply to posts, and 70% of people log in, lurk around, and get their value and watch their courses and do their things. And that's fine. I'm a talker, as you guys know. Jocelyn can attest to this. She is a lurker in forums. That's the way she likes to consume content, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think that it's hard for us when, especially when we launch something, because we're really excited. Like we have a lot of momentum. People are joining. Like, you think, oh well, this is great, and people are going to pour 100% of their time and effort into this. Well, what you have to understand is, and this, these people have other things to do too. And while it's kind of all consuming for us because we've been working on it so hard, we've just launched it, people have jumped on board, like there's all this excitement going along with that. For them, it's probably just like another thing to do. And they have some level of excitement about it, or else they wouldn't have joined. But maybe they joined because you offered a special discount. Maybe they're not ready to really jump in until like January, but they wanted to get in on your discount period. So don't assume that just because people aren't participating the way that you would want them to participate, that they are not interested, because that is not necessarily true. You hundreds of members, and like on this member call, we probably have like dozens, and different times draw different numbers of
And
people
some
from different
people,
time zones.
yeah, some people can the reason we rotate our member calls, like there's a 9 a.m. call, the next one will be at 12 because noon, because we rotate it every 3 hours. One to hit, we have members all over the world. We've got some amazing podcasts coming out with people from Europe, Saudi Arabia, all kinds of members all over the place. But the reason, but we rotate to serve those people and to give people like, oh, well, this person's got mornings off, this person's got lunch off, this person has evenings off. So we need to accommodate all those people, right? But different people, maybe 10, maybe 5-10% might show up at a member call or go watch the replay every member call. But we rotate them to make sure that more people are accessible and do it. So you can do some things like that too. And there's just all kinds of things you do, but you can't get caught up in who's showing up, because that doesn't mean they're not getting value. We've got one member, and he joins on the monthly membership, and he almost never logs in. And I emailed him one time, and I was like, bro, you've been a member for 7 months, log in like once a month. You don't come to member calls. You don't really post anything. And he told us, one, I do it because you guys have helped me so much in my business that I just feel like I owe it to you. Two, it's my security blanket. I know it's there when I need it, right? So you don't know how people are always getting value. You don't know why people are always joining or staying a member. Not everyone joins to talk to everybody else, and you got to be okay with that. So, but more members solves all problems. The more members you get, everything else gets better. So just keep getting more members, and
keep talking to them. Like people will start to engage. You just need to give them some time.
Talk to yourself for the first 6 months, and then don't even care if anybody else talks. Just be like, question. Hey, what do you think, self? And just write your reply. And then I used to do that all the time when we started the Flip Your Life community. I would write a question as the subject line, and then I would answer it as if I was like talking to myself. And eventually we hit critical mass, and enough people started talking back to me where I wasn't the crazy person in the corner talking to myself. So,
hey Mike, yes, we are audio only today. We got up this morning and just really didn't feel like getting presentable, so I'm wearing fuzzy slippers and pajama pants.
I'm wearing no shoes, and my hair looks like I've been in a wind tunnel for the last 6 hours. But hey, man, that's why we work from home, right? You work from home, and you have total control of the situation. The audio is what's important, guys. So you can go hands free this morning. You can make your coffee and listen, and you're not going to miss us sitting in our chairs. So it's all good.
All right. If anybody has a question, you can stick it there in the chat box.
And if anybody is just logging in, I've seen a few more people log in to the chat and on the live feed. Flip Your Life Live 2019 tickets are on sale now. You can go to fliplifestyle.com/live to get those. They are currently only on sale to the waiting list, which we launched earlier this week. And then you should have a message in your inbox right now for Flip Your Life community members. And that is going live to the general public on Monday. It's really important if you want to save some money on your taxes to get your ticket before December 31st, because you can write it off this year's taxes. So that can save you a couple $100 on your taxes. It's a dollar for dollar write-off because it's a business trip. And we want to do it. Last year, we didn't launch until January, and we were going to wait until January again. But then we had a number of people say, our ticket's on sale, our ticket's on sale. I'd love to go ahead and buy my ticket and write it off this year's taxes. So we thought, you know what, let's just roll it out in December this year. We'll see what happens. I know it's right after Christmas, but a lot of people will want to do that. So you want to get a tax break, go ahead and do that. And if you want to go ahead and put on a down payment to secure your spot, we do have payment plans for every level of ticket this year. So you can kind of spread that out over time. And those payments will never be cheaper than they are now, because basically every month it gets divided by less months, right? So we have to change the payment plan and raise the payment plan price to be able to, accommodate the distance from the event. So if you want to get a payment plan right now, go ahead and do that. And if you want a tax break for this year, go ahead and pay in full. Tickets are $100 this year as well for Flip Your Life Live. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully we'll have more people there this year, and it's going to be a cool event. So, all right, next question.
All right. I lost my window. Hold on. All right. This question is from Eva. She says, I'm feeling very overwhelmed and I need help prioritizing everything I do in my business. I had a great month in November where I made $10,000 in my business.
Wow,
Awesome.
congratulations. That's amazing.
Which I'm so happy about. I know I'm doing something right. However, I still need to grow because more than half of that money was from one-on-one coaching, which is draining when you do lots of it. My main struggle is that I have a cute, adorable 3-month-old baby home with me, in addition to 2 older kids in school, so I really can't press the gas pedal the way I want to right now. This means I need to work smarter, not harder, don't we all? Except that I don't really know what that means. How do I know which tasks are more crucial for growth and retention? I just don't have enough time to be creating new content for the paid community, creating new blog posts for my website, show up in social media regularly, email my list every other day, run giveaways and promotions, in addition to serving my membership community and my one-on-one clients. Creating new contents for blog posts is the most draining task for me, so I plan just to reuse old content for now. But even with that task aside, I feel like I'm barely keeping my head above water when there's just so much that needs to be done, making it hard to focus and ultimately work smarter to grow my business. What are the most important tasks I should be focusing on right now?
Okay, so I agree with you. You shouldn't be creating content every month for your community anyway, especially if you've already got courses. That's one reason why we went to a live format. Live a lot of times feels like, oh, if I do things live, I've got to be there. I've got an appointment. It's going to take time. But you can do things more on the fly. You can be there live with your people. And like, if you really say, I'm going to do 4 live things a month, that's only 4 hours of your time, right? And it's blocked off and it's done. And creates content in and of itself. Like, we're creating content right now by answering these questions, right? We can use these on later on YouTube. If we cut them up into individual questions, we can use them in the community for our members. We can just email it out and say, hey, did you miss the member call? Here's content, right? And we're doing it in a really blocked out part of time. So make sure you're just blocking out the minimum amount of content you need to create to feel good. Another thing too is, like, don't discount the live questions, Q&As for creating blog posts. We upload things to what's that website we use for transcribing?
Rev.com.
Rev.com. It's like $25. And for our podcast, we just upload the podcast, get all the text, and our assistant just posts it, right? And then we don't have to write a blog post. We've got a blog post. We've got thousands of words of text. Like, there's lots of little automated things you can do to get the same effect of a big, long, draining blog post that you sat and wrote for 8 hours. Or you could just record something and get it transcribed for 30 minutes, right? So there's lots of little tricks like that. But what I want to circle back around to is, this may not be a season of growth, right? Like, I think there's this mentality out there of endless growth, endless hustle. But was it 3 months or 3 years? What'd you say? How old was the baby?
I think 3 months.
Yeah, you got a little 3-month-old baby. Like, why not put it in cruise control for a year and enjoy that baby? You're making 10 grand a month. Maybe you get rid of one of your one-on-one clients. So you go down to 8 grand a month and you enjoy the baby. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a season in your life where you're not trying to grow. Maybe it's 6 months, whatever it is. And we all need to kind of embrace that a little bit and don't feel so much anxiety and stress and pressure on having to take advantage of every single opportunity. A buddy of mine I'm in a mastermind with just told me the other day, a great opportunity at the wrong time is a really bad opportunity. Right? Does that make sense? Like, it could be the best opportunity in the world, but the timing might not be right. And I'll give you an example of this. A lot of you saw my email that I sent out the other day to nominate me for a TED Talk, right? I wanted to get a nominations there was a little TEDx happening here. And when we first started out our business, I always wanted to do a TED Talk. I used to get up every morning. I remember after we quit our job, like the first month after we quit our job, I would get up every day and watch a TED Talk. listen to a TED Talk, be inspired. And I was like, man, someday I'm going to make enough impact to be on a TED stage. It might be a TEDx. It might be a TED Talk. I don't know what it is, but that would be cool, right? Now, Jocelyn and I are not public speakers. The only time we really speak is very special occasions that we get invited to and our live event. That's the only time we do public speaking because we just don't want to be public speakers. So this opportunity to have a TED Talk came up, and I thought, yo, what a cool opportunity. Finally, I get to do it. I'm going to do it. And I had like over 100 people nominate me for this TED Talk. And then I started talking to Jocelyn about it, and I was like, man, this is a great opportunity. But the more I've thought about it and the more I've realized how much pressure and time and effort is going to have to go into that to do a really good job. And when I realized it was kind of taking away from other things, like we just started homeschooling our kids. Our son is having some issues that we need to, like address as parents. Like we've got this live event, we've got all these things, all these other goals. Like this great opportunity may actually be at the wrong time, because if I commit to that thing, it's going to take away from all these other things. It's going to be really stressful, and I just don't know if it's the right time to do it. After thinking about it and after looking at it, so you may be in this same similar situation. It might not be the season to press the gas. It might be the season to kick back and say, man, I'm making 8 to 10 grand a month. I'm just going to roll this and get used to this and consolidate my gains. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of the next few months of this baby, because I'm not going to get these months back. And just take that pressure off yourself. Focus more on retention. Focus more on the lower energy stuff for right now. And don't try to do all the other new things, because it's not always the right time to do them. Don't try to take advantage of every opportunity, because every opportunity may be great, but it's just not like the right time to go into it.
I think that sometimes saying no is like the most powerful thing that you can do. And it's hard to do because we as people, we see other people in our space or somebody we look up to, we see them doing all these 7,800 things, and we think that we also need to do all of those things. And it is hard, but just remember that a lot of the people that you see doing all of the things that you think you need to do, they have a massive team behind them a lot of times doing some of this stuff.
Or they're not actually doing the things you think they're doing. That's another thing that can happen.
And what you have to do, what we've done when we feel overwhelmed, is we have to pick a few things. I read this article. I can't remember. I talk about it all the time, and I can't remember where I saw it at. I have to look it up. But anyway, I was talking about how you have to basically choose 3 things to focus on. Like, we as human beings cannot focus on more than like 3 things at a time. And so what I mean by that is like,
It was Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. I'm pretty sure who wrote that, wasn't it? It was the Facebook.
I'm gonna look it up real quick because I want to see what it says. Hold
Yeah,
on.
it was the face. I'm pretty sure it was Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. She said, like, there's 10 things in your life, right? There's your business, there's your kids, there's your spouse,
Okay, I found it.
extended family, all that, and then you can't do more. There's something like that.
Okay, so it's an Inc. article. I'll link it in the chat room here. But it says it's by Jessica Stillman. It's on Inc. And Randy Zuckerberg
Yeah,
was
that's what
the
it was.
one
Zuckerberg,
who said this originally. So
I knew it was somebody at
basically,
Facebook.
it says the entrepreneur's dilemma: maintaining friendships, building a great company, spending money, staying fit, getting sleep. Pick 3. So when I saw that, I was like,
Whoa.
oh my goodness, like it just really opened your eyes. And we can't do it all. It's not humanly possible. So we have to decide what we want to focus on at that exact moment. So that's what we're trying to say, is that, maybe
Your baby, grow your business. You've got, stay healthy, take care of your family, sleep. Pick 3. Like that. You don't really have as much of a choice right now as you would hope that you would have. And I'm not even sure we really want those choices. Do you
well,
think?
and things are going to change, as your baby gets a little bit bigger and, you know, starts doing other life things. Like, your life is going to change, just like our life changed when our kids got bigger. So, just try to figure out, like, what do I really want, and what are the 2 or 3 things that are going to get me closer to that goal.
Yeah, and then maintain that. It is just like driving. Like, you don't just drive the same speed all the time as fast as you can go. Sometimes when you're on a trip, you put it in cruise control and you just flying, and then you speed up to move faster, farther. Maybe you're trying to pass somebody, or you're trying to, get to the next exit as fast as possible because you got to go to the bathroom or get a cup of coffee or whatever. Like, sometimes you get off the exit and you slow down and you drive through a little town and you check out the Christmas lights or whatever, right? Like, that's kind of just like the entrepreneurial journey. Don't listen to the gurus who are selling you drive 80 miles an hour every day, 7 days a week, and just kind of kick back and
It's just not
relax and go for it.
sustainable. Like, the problem is if you're trying to do all that, you're going to burn out.
And the problem here is that fear of it losing it. Like, I know exactly what you're thinking because this is another thing that we've talked about with a lot of different people that have made it to this 10K mark. We're not used to that. We're not trained for that. Like 5 years ago, like my brother was just asking me this morning, he's like, do y'all get used to looking out and seeing this lake? Like, because y'all didn't have this 5 years ago. Like, how do you reconcile that waking up every day and like, you were not ready for this. You were not, there's no one that can prepare you for that kind of success. And but what happens is this fear creeps in. You're going to lose it when you become like where you're at. When you get to the point you're at, you're like, gosh, this got me here, if I slow down, I'll go away. That's a irrational fear that is not true, right? You can take care of the clients you've got. You can have slow, steady growth for a while. Shoot for one more client or customer that you don't have now than you started the month with, right? Like if you started with 10, leave with 11 and just slowly move forward and kind of put some other things in the priority. And you'll see on the backside of that, you will actually grow faster than you could have the other way. And you'll grow better and you'll grow smoother and you'll be a lot more peaceful while you do it.
All right.
All right, guys, we got a bunch of questions already in here. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Flip Your Life member call today. Make sure you go ahead and post your questions in the chat now, filling those into a spreadsheet, and we get them in advance so that we can go ahead and jump from question to question. And also don't forget, we would love to read any success stories. Just had an amazing success story. Someone's making $10,000 a month now. That's incredible, building an online business to that point and transitioning half of that from one-on-one to more passive things. That's awesome. So if you don't have a question or you do have a question and you've already asked it, go ahead and post in any recent wins or successes. It can be anything from quit your job to launch your product. We love success stories and we want to share those on today's call. So after this question, we will get to a few of those success stories.
All right. Our next question is from Janet Jimenez, who was also on our podcast recently, and you will hear her episode coming out soon. It says, I'm thinking about starting a trial, like $5 for 5 days, and then the regular monthly price. Is there something or is there anything I should prepare myself for when starting a trial? Do most trial members stay? Do you have any good advice of what has worked or not worked for Flip Lifestyle when starting your trial?
Okay. We've done over the last 2 years, many of you know, experimented with a lot of different trials. We did a $29 first month for a while. We did a $1 trial for a while. We've done a free trial now for like 7 months. We've seen a lot of different trials, and everyone does not stay. The retention is a lot lower on trials than someone who joins at the full price because they're just not as committed. They're literally tiptoeing into the water. It's like the person who goes halfway down the ladder and sometimes the pool's too cold for them, so they get right back out.
It's
right?
a lot of tire kickers.
Tire kickers, yes. But it does create a nice barrier to kind of identify the people who are more serious, because even in a free trial, we require a credit card. And, for people to get their credit card out of their wallet, even for $1 trial, is a really, really big deal. So expect about half of the people to actually renew when the period ends. Okay. Now, this is mentally taxing to literally watch half the people like see all your stuff and then reject it. But they're not rejecting it forever. They may come back later. They've seen it. It might not be the right time for them. But you do have to mentally prepare yourself for that. Okay. Like half the people are going to reject your offer. And that means it's kind of personal. It's like, man, I made this thing and half the people said no, even after they saw it. Wow. So you got to prepare yourself for that. You will get more customer service issues, and even probably a little bit more hate. So you are exposing yourself to a little bit more like emotional warfare when you do offer any kind of trials. Okay. That being said, it does get a lot more people in the door. Like overall, your numbers should go way up whenever you're offering any kind of trial, because people get to see how amazing your paid products are. Right. but you do have to be prepared mentally for the emotional drain of some of that negativity that's going to come through the door. Other than that, it pretty much works just like regular memberships at that point. Those 50% of the people that do stay, they're usually just, regular customers that eventually would have maybe joined anyway, but you gave them a way to get through the door and not want to leave. It's like the person that sells that's giving you the toothpick with the bourbon chicken. At the mall, you go to the mall and you walk by the place that's selling bourbon chicken, and there's a person, 10 feet out into right in the walkway, and they got a plate full of this chicken. And they're like, hey, take some free chicken.
Is bourbon chicken a Kentucky thing?
I don't know, man. We got bourbon chicken here. It might be
we got a lot of bourbon
maybe
here.
It's General So's chicken where you are. I don't know what it is. But like they're handing you chicken. They're giving you samples, right? Because they know if they can get you to just taste it, it's so delicious. You'll go over and buy a plate for $3.99 or whatever. So like that's
probably more like $7.99.
$7.99, whatever. I'm back in the day. But like that's what we're trying to give them a taste. Like most of those people would have just walked on by and they never would have bought the meal, but you gave them a sample, so they came in and they bought the meal, right?
And all of them won't.
And all of them won't. And all of them won't.
And that's a chance they're willing to take.
Yeah.
The person who's standing out there, they're willing to pay somebody, $7 an hour or whatever they pay them, because they will sell that many more meals from giving away those samples. So,
yeah. So if you're tough enough to take the heat, you're going to make more money in the long run. And that's pretty much entrepreneurship. And that's what
just know that a lot of those people won't convert. Like a lot of them are going to quit. A lot of them are going to ask for refunds. Like it's just going to happen. Just know it's going to happen. It does make it a little bit easier when it actually does happen, because you're just expecting it. So, don't get discouraged, is what I'm trying to say, by looking at all the people who are not continuing on.
I would also say this as well. If you're this is something that we had to kind of learn the hard way. If you're going to do a trial, do the trial. This is not some hidden thing. This is not something you're sampling. This is like rising tide, heck or high water, whatever happens. I'm doing a trial for 6 months, and it's going to be the only main promote for 6 months. I'm going to do it on webinars. I'm going to do it in my email list. I'm putting it on my sales page right beside the regular price. Like if you go to fliplifestyle.com/flipyourlife, you will see that we have the regular monthly option, we have the annual option, and we've got the free join for free right beside them, right? And you've got to kind of go all in on it, because your messaging gets confusing, your promotion gets confusing. Like it's like, no, this is how we promote this all in. So if you're going to do it till June.
Give it a chance and just see what happens. All right. We have a success story from Dan. Dan says, I recently made two full price passive sales of my class solely from word of mouth, I assume, since I've done no advertising yet.
That's what happens. That's what momentum's all about.
Sure, I'm glad you waited until January, Dan.
Just think, you were going to wait. Dan came to the Flip Your Life live event back in September. It's December now, and people are buying stuff, and he's not even trying, and he was going to wait until January to even launch. So.
Yeah, and poor Dan, like we let him have it, but we know he can handle it. So
everybody out there,
sorry, not sorry.
Long, don't wait.
Okay, let's see. All right. Next question is from Grant. Grant says, I've finally decided I'm on the path to having a membership site, and I'm excited about it. For the longest time, I didn't think it would work for me, but it was definitely a mindset shift I needed to get through. So with the membership in mind as the end goal, should I do anything differently as I try to grow my audience? I had some great responses in my forum questions as to free versus paid content, so I want to keep that in mind. But should I also be telegraphing the membership up front, or wait until I have an audience to throw it out there? And Grant is coming to the live event.
Hey, Grant, can't wait to meet you in person. Memberships, yeah. There's actually a course in the Flip Your Life Blueprint that I really want you to watch if you've not seen it yet. It's called the Membership Mindset. And what that course does is it doesn't get into all the technical stuff about setting up forums and anything like that. It's talking about how to build your product based around this membership community. And it goes over like all the different things, like how to create content for a membership, how to curate content for a membership, and how important the community. People won't pay monthly just because they have a library of videos. They'll pay monthly because they feel like someone cares about them, and they've got a leader, and they've got community, and they've got friendships, and they've got a place that's safe to go. It's this. Jocelyn and I talk about this all the time, about how we kind of look at the community almost like a congregation more than even a community. It is a place for support. It is a place you go. It's a port in the storm. It's a place you go when things are good to celebrate, and it's a place that you go when things are bad so you can find help, right? And we don't go. We go to the library to learn, but we don't go to the library when we're down and distraught and we're looking for answers all the time like that. The library courses is a great place to figure out your next step, but it's not a great place to go when things are going completely wrong and you need support, or you don't run in the library and start doing a celebration dance. You don't run in flossing in the library, right? So many people try to launch a community based on a library of content, and that has nothing to do with it. Memberships are about the community, about the curation, about the leadership, and you've got to have the service mindset, the membership mindset as you build the product, or you'll build it wrong. You'll go in and try to build 100 courses and all this stuff, and you'll think it's about you spewing out knowledge, and that's just really not what it's all about. So there is a big difference in launching a membership than launching a digital product. And you do have to have the proper mindset of community, leadership, then content if you're going to be able to do it correctly. So I'd watch that course for sure, and it should help you out to build that as you go.
All right. The next question is from Dedrick, or maybe Diedrich. I'm sorry. I just don't know how to say your name. Tell me in the chat, because I know I had
She
this.
wants we need a phonetic spelling, because
Yes.
we're the worst at names ever. So phonetic spelling.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Diedrich though.
Yeah, I had this problem last call too. I remember. Okay, it says, "What keeps you guys motivated and always moving forward?"
Lots of different things.
Well, I think it's funny. I think there's a perception out there for us and for others that people are always motivated, and I can promise you that is not true. Like, we don't just get up every day and be like, "Okay, what are we gonna conquer next today?" Like, there are some days that we have bad days, just like everyone else, and sometimes it is hard to stay motivated, and
we don't always move forward either.
no,
our
definitely not.
our graph looks like the stock market, just like everybody else's, guys. Like, I mean, and if you look at like the little stock market graph, like 4 lines, right? And like one line is parenting, one line is our marriage, one line is our self, and one line is our business. Those 4 lines are always going up and down at different times, like a roller coaster. So we're not always motivated and moving forward, but the things that ground us and refocus us are, we love the life we've built. And I want to tell everybody out there that when you become successful, it is harder, lonelier, and takes sometimes more energy to maintain what you've already built, and sustain it than it does even building it, right? Because life works that way. If you don't keep doing, it's going to go away. You don't just make it. And I read this thing the other day about this movement called it's like do something, retire early. Like basically, people are trying to retire in their 30s, and I'm like, that's totally unrealistic. Like, it takes maintenance to sustain what you've already accomplished. That takes a lot of energy. Sometimes the parenting stuff or the marriage stuff or the life stuff like throws your business graph off a little bit, and they all dip together, right? But then you refocus and you say, I'm doing this to give my kids a better life. I'm doing this to give us more opportunity. I'm doing this to help all these other people. Like, we built our business completely around service of other people. That way, even on the bad days, we're not motivated, but you guys rely on us. Like, it didn't matter in this morning at 8:45 a.m. Didn't matter what we looked like, how we felt. Didn't matter, because we knew that dozens of people would be waiting here on this member call for us. And we have to help you guys flip your life. We got to help you guys give your families better future. We have committed our lives to that action. So we have to show up, whether we're motivated or not. So that's kind of the way we look at it. Is it's not as much about inspiration and motivation as much as it is really just discipline and consistency. And by shifting your focus to discipline and consistency and being prolific instead of being inspired and being motivated and being a hustler, like if you shift over toward the other side, the emotional pick me up to keep going. You don't need that high to keep going. And good days or bad days, you do the job and you get it done and you make progress, instead of just looking for that, rah rah shish boom ba, we got a game in 3 hours kind of mentality.
Yeah, and I would just say for us, it's all about taking consistent action. So I think of it sort of as weight loss. So if you are trying to lose weight, and trust me, I've been there. I've been trying to for like a year and a half now. But anyway, if you're trying to lose weight, you know that if you track your weight on a graph every day, like it's going to go up and down. And it is very frustrating because sometimes you feel like you're doing all the right things, but the number is still going up. So the thing you have to remember is that it will eventually start going down if you continue doing all the right things. Does that mean that you're never going to mess up and you're never going to have a bad day? No, because that's just human nature and we all do. But what you have to remember is if you're still eating right, if you're still exercising consistently over time, things will start to go in the right direction. And I think it's also you have a really strong why. If I just want to lose weight, like that's probably not going to work out so well for me. But for me, like I have a live event coming up that I have to be on a stage and I have to be videoed and photographed at. So that's important to me that I feel my best when I go up there. So that is very motivating for me. So in turn, what I'm trying to say is you also need a strong why for your business. So if you're just like, that passive income thing, like, it sounds pretty cool, and, like, yeah, I wanna make money while I sleep, like, that sounds pretty cool. Like, if that's your only motivating factor, you're probably not going to be super motivated to reach that goal. But if you're saying to yourself, "Hey, I really want to change my life. I want to spend more time on my family. I want there to not be people telling me what to do and where to be and what I should be doing all hours of the day." If that is your motivating factor and you're constantly looking at that, that is probably going to take you further than just thinking it's cool to make money while you sleep.
This goes back to an earlier question that we had on today's member call about too, like what to focus on. You know, last year probably was where we got the most consistent in what we were kind of doing with a lot of things in our business. And we did to 3 or 4 actions that we really, really, really knew would move the needle. And those got done every day, every week, period. Like, for example, I email the list, our email list, at least 5 days a week. I committed to that last year and we did it. We podcast every week. That's consistent. That's gotta, stay the same. Like, we have to do that. One thing I do is at the end of every week, I'm actually moving it to 2 weeks now because I've figured out that it's actually better to do it every 2 weeks. But consistently, 90% of all Fridays, or I do money. I go through all of our finances. I pay off, we use a credit card to get a lot of points. We pay it off every single week. I go through all of our different categories of paying ourselves, of paying our employees. Like, I do that every single week, and I committed to doing it every week, even if I didn't feel like it. Just do it. Just do it. Just don't grind. Because if my mind's on my money, it's going to grow. If we're consistently emailing promotions, we're going to grow. And if we're consistently doing podcasts, our audience will grow. We really got down to do these core things, even if you don't feel like it, and everything will be fine. And that's where you've got to discipline yourself. Don't look for motivation. Have a schedule. Don't look for motivation. Put things on your calendar and commit to doing them because you have to, right? You got deadlines and things with consequences. That's how you grow your business. There's too much emphasis online on the motivational pep talk on stage. You can ask anybody that came to Flip Your Life Live last year. It was not a raw motivational speech for 8 hours a day, 2 days. It was, okay, guys, we're going to motivate you real quick. And now we're all going to get stuff done on our businesses in the next 24 hours.
And the
And that's what we
motivation
did.
piece is important.
It
Like
is,
you
sometimes you need
have
it.
to
Yep.
get motivated to take action, but the thing that is going to sustain you is not taking no for an answer. Like you
Consistency.
can't
Yeah.
say I want this. You say I deserve this and I'm going to get it. Like until you cross that point in your mind, then it's going to be really difficult for you to be successful.
Great questions today, guys. Awesome questions. Had a few more people log in. Welcome to today's member call. If you've got a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. Love to hear any success stories or wins that you've had recently as well. And don't forget that tickets are on sale to Flip Your Life Live 2019, September 19th through the 21st, 2019. And they're only on sale right now to the waiting list. And we just opened it today to the entire Flip Your Life community. They are selling very fast. We were super pleased with how things are going. And we would love for you to get your ticket before they go on sale to the general public on Monday. So there is a email in your inbox, and Jocelyn's going to drop links in the chat if you want to check that out. We would love to meet you in person this year at Flip Your Life Live. And we are about to jump into our next question.
All right. Our next question is from Kevin. Kevin says, on the last call, you suggested I should go ahead and start my Excel training membership community. My plan was to do a live class to pilot my course in January, then record course videos in February. I will launch my online course in March. I want to build my list from January to March and launch my membership to the list the last week of March. My question is, should I hold off on starting the membership until March, or should I go ahead and start it now with members? Oh, Kevin, you've listened to us for a long time.
You know the answer to this question.
You know what we're going to say.
Do it now. Yeah, I mean, this question always kills me because I'm like here's the advantage.
Why would you not?
Why would you not do it now? Like I always ask people that, like, why would you not do it now? And every person I've ever asked that to, they kind of wishy-wash an excuse or two, then they always look up in the sky and go, yeah, there's no reason not to. Let's say you launch the course and no one joins. Okay, let's say you don't launch the course and no one joins. You're still at no one joins. So why not at least give yourself a 1% chance of someone joining? Like, it makes, like, there's a guaranteed 0 on one side and a maybe sort of 1 to 100% chance somewhere in there on the launch side, right? So get it out there. If you've got 3 people, 1 person, anyone that will take advantage of this, like, you need to launch. There is almost never a reason, guys, not to launch as soon as possible. I don't care if you've got 0 people on your email list. I don't care if nobody's ever been to your website. You need to have the thing out there if you're ever going to have to be successful. So come on, Kevin, launch, baby, get it out there, man. Go for it and see what happens. You may just get your first 3 beta members and learn something you were leaving out, so that by the time you get to March, you've made so many improvements to this thing that you get 100 people, right? But you've got to get started if you're going to be able to make it happen. And we launched last year, and we had we didn't even have a hotel when we launched the live event last year. We weren't for sure where it was even going to be. We just knew the city. And we just did it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, we didn't know for sure if people were even going to do it. So we were like, hey, let's just throw it out there and see what happens. And we made it work. So what's the worst thing that can happen? This is the game I like to play with this. Okay, if you don't do it, make $0. If you do it, then maybe you'll make a lot of dollars.
You might sell 1.
If you sell nothing, okay, Jennifer says, what happens when you launch and no one joins? Then you keep working, you keep trying, you keep creating content.
You keep now you can promote it. Like, just because no one joined today doesn't mean they won't join tomorrow. Jocelyn and I have launched many products, guys, that no one bought the first day. Okay. We had that happen. We have done webinars to 0 people, like back in the day, hey, let's have a webinar. What if nobody shows up? Well, nobody showed up, but at least we've got a recorded video now that we can email to the list. And maybe someone will watch the replay. We could upload it on our site. We could throw it up on YouTube. We've got the content. We can do something with it, right? So worst case scenario, now you can not focus on creating the product and turn your attention to promoting it to go find that first person that joins. People are already not buying your thing because it doesn't exist. So who cares if no one buys it on the first day or the first week?
It doesn't mean that no one's ever going to buy it. And
That's
I think that is the thing that people worry about. Like, they think, okay, well, if I launch this thing and no one buys, well, it's a failed product. No, have to keep promoting it and keep looking for new audience members. It's not because it's the wrong product necessarily. It's just because maybe not enough people know about it.
And it might have been in front of the wrong people. Earlier in today's show, I gave a great example of why people give samples and free trials. So I was talking about, the Asian restaurants in the mall where people have, like, the guy standing with the plate full of chicken out there, and he's like trying to get you to take a sample so you'll go eat the chicken and buy the meal, right? Well, imagine if the guy standing it was summertime, and the guy standing out there had 6 snow shovels, and he was standing in front of the chicken place trying to get you to look at the snow shovel to buy it. Well, you just got the wrong product in front of the wrong people at the wrong time, right? That might be what happens when you do, your product and you launch and no one. You just got to go find the right people. If that dude walks down to the hardware store in the winter, then he's going to be able to sell his product. And so, like, it's not a failed product. It's not a bad product. It's a really good snow shovel. He's just putting it in front of the wrong people at the wrong time. And that's all it is if you launch and no one buys. It's no big deal. You just have to walk down the street at a different time and sell the right thing at the right time.
Okay, so we have some follow-up from Kevin here. He says, my concern is having time to record the course videos and do member calls and answering their question. I don't want to delay my course because I'm trying to babysit my members before I'm ready for them. Well, this goes back to the question that we had earlier. When you have just a few people in a community, a lot of them are not going to participate. Okay. So I don't know how many people you have that have already bought the course. Maybe you can type that in to the chat. But my guess is that it's probably not a lot. So the thing about it is, like, you're probably not going to have that much work to do. My favorite thing to do really is this member call because, like, it's a way for us to serve our members, but like I know how much time it's going to take because it's on my calendar and you can make it fit whatever you want to do. Like there's no law that says you have to do a member call twice a month. That's what we do. That doesn't mean it's the right way or that's what you need to do for your audience. Maybe right now you do one once a month.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about the member call is that you guys come with the content. You come with questions. Like I don't have to prepare anything. I come and sit here and talk for an hour and a half, and then like
and people take action to make it happen. I'll tell you another thing too, right away, that I always want to like kind of throw down some smackdown and no sugar on you real quick, Kevin. You were like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have time to babysit my members, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. You are starting your journey and building your business, and you better make time for those members. Guys, you don't get to make passive income day one. I hate to tell you all this. Even if you launch a membership, you need to suck it up and serve people for about a year. And when you change your life, you then get to choose how you spend your time. But going into it, guys, you can't have this passive income mentality. You need to be saying, man, I don't have time to do anything else but serve my members, right? I'm going to get up and take care of my family. I'm going to do what I have to do if I've still got to go to work. And then I am actively serving as many people as I can for the next 6 months until I hit critical mass and it becomes more passive. You don't get to choose your life until you change your life. And too many people, and I'm not, Kevin, I'm picking on you a little bit here, but I hear this all the time. Oh, I just don't know if I have enough time for a membership, or I don't know if I have enough time, to launch and create a product. Well, then you don't have time to change your life. So deal with the life you've already got, because that's where you're going to stay stuck. So when you say, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time. No, you're not making enough time. You do have enough time. You may have to give up a lot of other things. We gave up everything. I'm getting a little emotional here, guys, because I'm fired up by this. Me and Jocelyn gave up everything for about a year and a half to get to the point where we crossed the finish line and reached the tipping point. We had no social life. We had no personal life. We focused every ounce of energy into creating products and serving our customers and taking care of our kids. And that was it, right? But that's what it takes. That's what it takes to get to the next level. So I would really push back a little bit here about that comment of, I don't know if I'm have time, babysit on what. Like, dude, are you in the boat or are you swimming back to shore? That's what everyone needs to really ask themselves and look in the mirror and say, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm not just going to try.
And I want to just say too, like, I think a lot of times when people are thinking about, I'm going to have a membership, I'm going to have maybe, say you have 20 people in it, for instance, like you have this perception that those 20 people are going to be bombarding you with questions 24 hours a day. That is not the case. Okay. We have hundreds of members. I probably spend maybe about 30 minutes a day in our community.
But that's because we have systems in place.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say.
Funnel everything to us in like we can sit down and it's like a machine, whether it's on Voxer in our All Access coaching program. Yesterday I was I sent an email out and I told people to reply to me. I had over 100 emails waiting on me, but I had a system to reply to them and I did them all in 45 minutes. Right. So
And what I'm trying to say is it's really important that you block out time to work on stuff. Like I hear you saying in the back of your head, I don't want to be tied to this membership community 24 hours a day thinking I have to answer people's questions. You don't have to do that. Maybe you check it 3 times a week. Maybe you check it 2 times a week. But don't let yourself live in the community. Like if I kept this community open 24 hours a day, then yeah, I could find something to do all 24 hours a day. But I don't do that. I say, okay, I'm checking this community from this time to this time on these days. And that's what you have to do. You have to draw lines and you have to have boundaries and you're all right.
And there are some really good questions. I've been reading ahead a little bit. Like there's some
And we're not
really
mad at you,
awesome.
Kevin. I promise.
No,
We're
no.
just trying to help you.
We have to tell ourselves that too, guys, all the time. Like like when we're preparing for this live event, when we decided to, when we scheduled it again this year, we said, hey, we know how much time this takes. Now, are we all in or are we all out? Is this going to change lives or is it not? And it is. So we got to do it, and we got to be all in to do it, even though it's going to take a lot of work. So it's all good.
All right. This question is from Kareem. She says, how do you guys decide which position to hire first? Can you talk about the hiring process and systems related to work, task, and communication? All right. This is sort of a challenging one for us. We have made a lot of mistakes in this area, which means that we can
We
tell
know a lot
you.
about it because we've done all the bad things.
Yes,
Right?
we know a lot of what not to do. So I would say when you're hiring someone,
Oh, you know what we should do? Like, what if we just talk about where, because we basically hired and fired like 10, 15 last year. And like, where are we at now? Like, what do we have like right now after making all the mistakes? Like, that's kind of where we ended
yeah.
up at. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what I was going to say is that I think what you have to do based on all of our missteps, and there were a lot of missteps, um, what you need to do is make sure that you know exactly what your expectations are for someone's position. You need to make sure that they are in alignment with the person's expectations. I would say that's probably the number one mistake that we have made. We've gone into it just finding someone
Who we thought was
who,
a unicorn, could do it all kind of person.
or like maybe they were convenient to hire. We've fallen into that trap too. Like, we had one person who, um, she was a friend of ours and oh yeah, she can do this. And like she just was not a right fit for the role because we did not correctly spell out our expectations and they were not in alignment. Like that person was expecting something different than we were expecting. And that is probably the main thing I would say. If you're going to hire anyone, like be very crystal clear on what your expectations are and make sure that that person also understands and that they are in agreement and alignment with those
Oh,
expectations.
okay. And then the second thing I would say is, and this is going to be hilarious because you're asking us on who you should hire. Don't listen to anyone else on who you should hire for your business. Your business and our business and everyone's business is so unique, and your skill, your talents, and everything else is so unique. There is no possible way that we can tell you who you should hire first. Okay. You won't hear a lot of people say that who are quote unquote experts because they want to look like they know everything A to Z. If you do this, your business will grow and everything will explode and you'll be a millionaire. But that's not true. That's the biggest thing that I learned last year hiring all these people is, we went into it. We've got a lot of, high level people that we hang out with. We're like, what did your team look like? Who did you hire first? If you could do it again, what would you do now? But then we realized like, well, they're hiring that person because they have this skill that they would rather do in their business. And that's why they hired that person first. I don't have that skill. I would have hired that person first. Right. So it doesn't make sense to necessarily say there's an order that you should hire things. Okay. What you should do is figure out what you should be doing and hire out the other things. You may be the best customer service person you've got to do for your business. That may be something that you thoroughly enjoy, is really answering tickets and serving your members and helping them get logged in and helping them with any issues or whatever. It doesn't matter. But like customer service may be your thing. If that's your thing, you hire out other things, right? For us, our main thing that we have to do every day is talk to a whole lot of people through our forums, through Voxer and our coaching programs, on our podcast, like different things like that. We got to be free to do that. We had to hire a podcast editor. We cannot function without a podcast editor. That's one critical role that we have to. I can do it. I like to do it even. I actually enjoy editing audio and video because it doesn't help us move forward if I'm editing the podcast. So we hire a podcast editor. Jocelyn really, really hates customer service. Like, not from a standpoint of just like helping people, but like
Not because I dislike my customers.
no,
Don't
but
take it that
she
way.
hates any problems because it makes her feel bad. Like, even if people can't get logged in, or she feels like broken, or
It makes me
anything
want
else.
to dive in and fix all the things.
Yes,
You
and
know,
it just totally absorbs her. It takes her away from everything else that we're doing. Like, we have to have a customer service person. And we get so many tickets and so many emails. Like, we need a heat shield there. So like, those are two roles in our business that we know if we've got those two covered, that's it. Now, a lot of other people would say, oh, the next thing you would hire is a marketing person. And last year, someone was like, you need to hire a salesperson. But then we realized, like, no, we're the marketers. That's the thing we like to do the best. So I write all of our copy. Jocelyn and me talk about all of our sales funnels. Like, we don't hire that out. What we did hire out was a personal assistant to come in our house every day, 5 days a week from 10 to 3, and help us straighten up the house, help us clean up the house, go shopping for us, go wash our cars. We chose that over a marketing and salesperson because that frees up so much of our time. We can focus our energy on those things. That role was more important to us than a marketing, sales, or advertising person. So we hired that next. And like, we've pretty much settled into like kind of outsourcing everything out and on a contract basis, except for those three crucial roles, because for our skill set, for what we can do with our business, those are the three roles that support us the best. They will not look that way for everybody else. You may need a marketing person because you're bad at it. You may need a Facebook ad person because you're bad at it. You might need something else that we're not even thinking about. Maybe your forte is not social media, so you hire a social media marketing person. So the best thing you can possibly do, write down all the tasks in your business individually on a post-it note. I think I've got a video about this in the Flip Your Life community, by the way, in the Flip Your Life blueprint. Write down every task in your business on a post-it note. Then get rid of 20% of the tasks because they're probably useless anyway before you ever do anything else. Then you have columns. One column is you. What do you want to do and what should you do because you're the best at it? Only take those post-it notes and put it in that column for you. And then group all the other tasks into similar things and say, well, what could I hire someone to do these 4 tasks and then these 4 tasks and then I'm done? Well, I don't really need a marketing person. I just need someone to do these post-it notes. I don't really need a customer service person. I just need someone to do these post-it notes, and figure out what's best for your business with you and what you do. And you'll be so much happier. You'll make so much fewer mistakes and you won't waste tens of thousands of dollars like we did over the last couple of years. We hired so badly. We hired a bunch of people. We had like, at one time we had 14 people doing something for us.
We are actually doing a podcast about this.
Yeah.
It'll come out next week.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And like that, but we had to hire a project manager to manage all these people that were doing all of the
that
useless
we
things.
did a terrible job hiring.
Yes. And like, we're like, oh, and it just, the problem kept compounding outward because we were going by the book and listening to the experts and listening to other people and how they were running their businesses, when really we should have put ourselves in a bubble and said, how do we want to run our business? Right. So that's my best advice for you is don't listen to us. Don't copy us. Look and say, what do I actually not want to do and need help with? That's my next person I hire.
And I would say like hire slowly because, you know, I think a lot of times people think as their business is starting to grow, well, I need a full-time person to do A, B, and C. Well, you know, we are at a pretty, I don't know, we're in a pretty good place as far as is concerned. And we run our business with the 2 of us and 3 contractors, basically.
Small and mighty team. That's our new philosophy.
And
Small
those
mighty team.
contractors, they don't work that many hours because what had happened before is we decided we were going to hire people full time. Well, we were not able to fill their hours at first. And we were like, hey, we're going to go ahead and hire you full time. And we'll fill your hours later. Well, the problem is human nature says if I work part-time for full-time money, I don't want to work full-time for full-time money. And later when we tried to give those people more tasks to do to fill up that time because we had more things to do at that time,
They balked.
they didn't want to do it, And I mean it makes sense. I understand, but like we made that mistake of saying, well, we'll go ahead and pay you full-time and just work you part-time. And then when we wanted to change that, it was like a big problem later. So, I would caution you against that. And I would also say that, like I said before, we don't work that many hours. So, one person, we have three contractors that we work with on the business side primarily. One person works up to 10 hours a week, another person works up to five, another person works up to five. That is it. Like,
I want to stress here too, like that's just the way we do it. Like I've got a buddy who's got a project manager and four full-time employees, and they show up at the office every day, and he tells them what to do, and then he goes and does his thing. And that's he wants full-time control everything, right? That's cool. That's his business. I'm not saying it's better or worse. He may grow. I might make more money than him. He may make more money than me. It doesn't matter. That's the way he wants to run his business. This is the way we want. You need to run your business the way you want to run it. Okay. And also, hiring is not the solution. Sometimes it's just rolling up your sleeves and getting to a tipping point where you can slow down or take things off your plate. And like Jocelyn said earlier, maybe you don't need to maybe you don't need to hire someone. Maybe you need to get rid of some of the tasks. You'll be shocked when you lay all the tasks out, how many tasks you're just doing because you've always done them and they're not making you any money. So maybe you can just get rid of 20% of your tasks right now. All right, we got a great success story from David. I was reading this and there was like a conversation going. I wanted to read this thread. David said, success in all capital letters. While laying in bed last night, we got our first annual member. That makes 2 non-beta members. Feels like it has been a long time coming. I am glad to see some fruits from the labor. And then Oleg down below in the chat said, the best part about that success story, David, was you were laying in bed while you made money. Congrats, dude. That's amazing. Good story. Awesome stuff. Yes, making money when you're doing something else. That's actually one of the things that we do in my mastermind group. At least once a month, is we say, all right, last month, what was the best time you made passive income? Which passive income just means I'm making money while I'm doing something else. It doesn't mean set it and forget it. And we always share stuff like, oh, I was at the kids thing, or I was driving, or whatever. So good stuff. I was playing Xbox last night when 4 ticket sales came in for Flip Your Life Live. That was my passive income story for the week. So it's all good stuff.
all right. Our next question is from Alana. I hope I said that right. She says, I have a question about my avatar. I serve teachers, homeschoolers, and moms providing enrichment. Do I need separate funnels and sales pages for my membership? I plan to offer a challenge for moms, a playroom purge for organization, a 5-day classroom transformation bootcamp for teachers, and a webinar on learning spaces.
Yes, you 100% need different funnels. It needs different ads. It needs different sales pages. Once they get to the thank you page, you're probably good to kind of funnel them all into the same place. We are actually about to work on a new homeschool version of my U.S. history teachers site, and I'm probably going to clone the entire website, the entire funnel, and just put it on a new domain, and then change the front page and leave the inside the same. So once they get to the content's probably pretty much all the same that they're going to use anyway. Like when we do this history thing for homeschool parents, everything inside will be the same. There's nothing different. There's no language different. It's still the same stuff to teach the kids. It's all there, right? But in the front of the funnel, if I'm going to convince a teacher to do something, that's a whole different animal than teaching a homeschool parent to do something. So anytime you're selling to a different segment, you need emails, ads, and sales pages that look different. But pretty much order form, thank you page, product can look the same. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to kind of add some new rims to it. That's a good analogy.
All right. I got nothing.
Jocelyn just rolled her eyes at me deeply. So yeah, same wheel.
You're such a car person.
Different rims. Yeah, my vast knowledge of manly car things.
No, it's like zero.
None at all. But that's what I do.
Okay. This question is from Sarah. Working on putting together a webinar. How many attendees can I expect? out of those who signed up? Is it typically about half or much smaller? I was thinking of using Zoom, but I'm worried about the expense if it goes over 100 people.
Um, why would you not use
Usually,
something else that you could? What are you using for that? That you only get 100 people? I would. We actually did a webinar one time, Sarah, where we only 100 people and like 300 people were trying to get into the webinar. And I was, while Jocelyn was talking, I was on the computer typing in the credit card during the webinar to expand the membership.
that was an anomaly, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I had like 600 people show up, and I think or I had 600 people sign up, and I probably had about 100 show up.
Yeah, it was
So
crazy.
it's probably maybe closer to 200, but it's going to be probably
You're going to
less
get
than
anywhere
half.
50% or less to show up. It could be, I mean, depending on the day, it could be 5%. I mean, there's no way to predict that.
I would say 30 or 40 would be
It would be
generous.
generous. Yeah, like something like that. But here's another thing too. I want to challenge your mindset, Sarah, because I know you, I know your business, I know what you're doing with it. You need to stop thinking so small and so limited. Why would you not the next plan up where you can get 300 members and expect 300 to show up and do everything in your power to get 300 to show up? Or because like go get 600 people to sign up and 300 to sign up, and like what would happen if 30 to 50 people joined your membership on that webinar? You wouldn't care anymore about the next webinar and how much you're spending and your expense. Like your software is not an expense, it's an investment to go get more. And I really feel a mindset issue here of being kind of scared to do this. And like, listen, we get it. Like, we had to sign a contract for over $100,000 for this live event before we sold this thing, right? To commit, to get the dates. And like, if something shows up, we're on the hook for that. But we had to go out and expand our mind. And we had to say, if we don't sign that contract, we don't have a chance at getting all these people to show up. You understand? So, like, this is a mindset issue. This is not I'm worried about how many people are. Who cares if you want to overflow the webinar? You
Well, and I
want
mean,
it
how
to
much
fill
is
up.
it? Is it maybe like $100? She says is not very expensive, but like if you can get 10 people to join, would it be worth it?
If it's $5 a month and you get 100 people to join your membership, you just gave yourself a $500 a month raise. And I guarantee you the next tier of your webinar software is not $500 a month. If it is, you need to find new software. So going up a tier and paying $29 more a month, you only need 5 people paying $5 a month to make that up. So like if it's worth 5 more members, it's worth investing into better software. It's just like a store owner who needs to invest in, they have 500 square feet of space, but they could sell more and be in a better location and get 1,000 square foot of space if they rent this other building. They go there and they give themselves a chance to sell more, to offer more, to do more. You should never worry that too many people show up to your webinar, because the more people that show up, the more things you sell. So go. Let's try to blow up 100. Let's go up
But
to the limit.
okay, she says it's $340 a month for 1,000 people. Okay, that's fine. So what I would do, honestly, is just wait and see how many people sign up.
I'd go to a different software for one thing, because I don't know.
Yeah, that seems
I
expensive.
can have 500 people for $49 a month. So you've got the wrong software doing the wrong thing. Whatever you're using,
But
you need
I
to
would
switch.
wait until the last minute. The beauty of software is you can sign up for it the day before,
That's right.
and it will work perfectly fine.
I would
So
try to get there though, as much as possible. Like, try to blow your membership up. Don't be scared of the next. It's like email lists. My buddies always call their list to stay just. I got a buddy that says, I gotta stay just below my email. If I go up, it's gonna be $100 more a month. And I'm like, yeah, but bro, what if you got 5,000 more emails? Like, you'd make way more than $100 a month. Like, I'm telling you, this is a mindset issue. Like, I understand it. I get it. I feel the fear. It's real. It's legit. You should be cautious. You should be conservative, but this is a mindset issue. And it might be a changing software issue. This is something that we talked about yesterday. We're getting rid of ClickFunnels, even though we love it, because we can do the same thing with something else for a third of the price, right? So maybe you can find a new webinar software to make it cheaper to get more people. Maybe you can just use a Google Hangout, embed it on a page, and put as many people as you want in it.
that's what we usually
Yeah,
do.
that's what we do. And I got a lead page with a Google Hangout. I can put as many people on that page as possible.
Well, We used to use Webinar Jam. I have not used it in a long time, and I know a lot of people have had issues with it, so I don't know that I would recommend that one.
But I didn't feel like playing their game with limits, and I just said, hey, if I can get a lot of people to click a link, go to a page and watch a video, and then click a button to go to another page, I make a lot of money. And like, I don't need expensive software to do that. And I'll show you how to do it, Sarah, if you want me to. We'll get in there and I'll show you exactly what our webinar. I think I've actually got a video showing this in the community down at the very bottom of the Flip Your Life Blueprint. There's a webinar course. But like, if this is a real issue and you're limiting yourself, I don't want to go over 100. And I think it's keeping you from promoting it enough to get 100 people there at the first place. I hope you get 100 people and you're on the thing trying to upgrade on the call, because you'll get more money on the backside of it. The other thing too with memberships, don't think about it as how many you sell. Like, let's say your membership is $10 a month, Sarah. Okay. And let's say that your webinar produces 10 sales. Oh man, I paid $240 more dollars for this webinar software, but I only made $100 on my webinar. No. What if those 10 people stay 6 months? That webinar was actually times $600, way more than you spent on that month membership. And if you do that every month, you keep stacking and staying ahead of the game. You keep trading less money for more money. So zoom back, think bigger, push the boundaries, push the limits. Don't limit yourself and be afraid to go to the next tier. And don't be afraid to change what you're doing to make it cheaper so that you can go do that anyway. Yeah, she said that's my fear. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I worry that if I pay for 1,000 attendees, that I won't make enough sales. $340 a month for 40. Divide 340 by the lifetime value of your customer. If your lifetime value is $50, Sarah, of your customer, 50 will go into 307 times. You need 7 sales on the entire webinar to make that up. And then you just need to do a webinar every month and if you do 7 sales, you're always ahead of what you're paying for that webinar software. And you are way more talented. Your product is way too good to only get 7 sales. You know it. I know it. We know it. So you just need to go do it.
All right, this question is from Jeff. It says, I'm launching my beta course next month around the theme of working chocolate at home. What is the best way to run the course? Do I build it online, learn from that, and make improvements as I go? Based on feedback from beta students, it seems if I ask what they want to learn, I don't think they'll have enough feedback to make valuable contributions. Oh, never assume that, Jeff. Also, do we have a course in the community about how to build courses? See you in Lexington.
Is this Jeff Slaughter? Mm-hmm. Jeff had an amazing success story in the community. I want to tell you guys real quick. So Jeff is a chocolatier, not like makes chocolate, like legit went to, where'd he go?
Belgium.
Went to Belgium and is like a legit Belgium chocolatier, like knows how to make chocolate, like yes. Belgium, whatever it is. And like, so he's like the man, like the elite, like he's like the Gordon Ramsay of chocolate. I'm building him up here. Well, anyway, he sells chocolate at Christmas time. It's his busiest season. He was it at the live event or on the member call that he got the tip or the advice to do that with the selling of the chocolate?
I think we talked to him on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Jeff came on the podcast, and his interview may not be out yet. It may be. I'm not sure. But so Jeff's on the podcast. We're talking about what to do. He takes the tip and he goes and does it, and he completely runs out of materials to make chocolate. He sells out, and he has no materials to make like any more chocolate. So Jeff is an action taker. He's awesome. He's good. I would just do it and learn from it online and just keep making iterations of it as you go. You don't know what it's going to look like the first time. So just do it the first time. Write down all the things of your mistakes, and it'll be easier like the second time, and it'll grow bigger and faster. Planning for this year's live event. How long were we on the phone with Amber? Like 2 hours, maybe this year?
Probably. I don't know.
We did a little call to get ready for this year's live event. She sent us the package. We looked it over. 2 hours. Last year, it was like a 4-week, 40-hour process just to even understand when we were showing up. So, we're all about learning on the fly and learning on the job. So
just throw something out there. People will have questions, and it will be things that you never even thought about. And that's the thing is like, sometimes we assume that people won't know what questions to ask, but then they have like really insightful questions that we never even considered. So
one of the things people like Flip Your Life Live asked, like we thought people would ask about price. We thought people would ask about the city. Nobody cared about the city. Everybody just was excited about the city. Like it was like nobody cared. The question we did not anticipate was a lot of people were like, is the content going to be different next year? And I looked over at Jocelyn. I said, whoa, this has been asked like 3 times. Like, I didn't even anticipate that. So yeah, it is going to be different. We had to answer that question, but we didn't even think, we thought people would just assume that it would be different. So you just never know what people are going to actually ask.
All right. We are moving on to Jennifer. Jennifer says, how do you establish online community and authority? I've been posting 3 times a week, adding weekly YouTube videos, etc., but I don't seem to be able to grasp the momentum or create a community. I think the
Is this
key,
which Jennifer is this? Dixon or Bradley?
Jennifer Dixon, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that the key for this, Jennifer, is finding some type of social proof. It's hard to establish authority without having some type of success. So that's one of the things that we focused on when we first got started. Like, I even recommend doing totally free work for someone in order to get a testimonial. Like, you need a legitimate testimonial of someone that you've helped do whatever it is that you're trying to do.
And this is not like Joss and I have a bank. We have like a like I email myself and we tag them testimonial, and we have a Google document and a spreadsheet of all these testimonials that we've collected. Like, there's probably over like 1,000 of them, counting everything in the success forums and everything else, right? Just tons and tons. Like, you got to get focus on your 3 best ones. Like, if you look at any of our marketing materials, we pretty much focus on 3 to 5 of our best testimonials that cover a wide demographic. Like, we've got a dad, we've got a mom, we've got people with babies, we've got people with 6 kids. Like, we kind of picked and chose like demographically the best 3 to 5 testimonials, and that's all we use all the time. So like,
we have like hundreds
and hundreds and hundreds of like success stories, testimonials, things like that. We just don't use them all. There's no reason to post all of them online. So focus on 3 to 5 really, really good ones. And this goes back to an issue that we talked about earlier. Your community may just not be big enough to build community yet. You know, it's like the 5th grade dance. The first little boy gets there and he goes over to one wall. Then the first little girl and her friend, 2 little girls get there and they go to the other wall. There's no community. There's no dance. It's not even a dance yet. There's music, there's people, but there's no dance. Then the little boy's 4 friends get there and they all start talking. And then 5 little girls get there and they start to over here. And then they all start kind of moving to the middle. And then finally somebody, then the teachers go out and dance to show them what they're supposed to do, right? And then 2 kids get brave and they go do the 2 more kids get braves. And all of a sudden it's just this mass. Everybody ends up on the dance floor by the end of the night. And then the kids have a good time and a good memory and blah, 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 right? It's exactly the same thing in your community. If there's not, if no one had ever showed up besides the first little boy and the first little girl, it doesn't matter how much dancing the teachers do. Those kids are never going to walk out there and dance because they're alone, right? So the answer is usually go get more members in your community, and you'll eventually hit a point, and you'll eventually show them enough to where they'll know what to do and they'll go do it. Okay. And until that point, it's going to be really, really like pulling teeth.
Okay. I would also make sure on that you are talking about things that people want to hear about. So that gets into like keyword research and also just paying attention to what other people in your space are doing. So I would also do those 2 things. All right. Also, she says, what does a webinar look like as far as a lead magnet for a workout type product? This is the time of year to really boost the type of product I have, and the organic things I'm doing aren't growing. So a webinar, how does that work?
You would tell them what to do and then sell them how to do it. That's what I end up doing. So basically you would say like, if it's yoga, right? You would go in and you would say, hey, all right, look, here's what you want to lose weight. You want to feel better. Okay. Well, there's 3 principles here that you got to do, right? Like, you got to eat right. Okay. There's the one thing. This is what you eat. Then 2, people focus so much on, strength and cardio and weights. But if you just got, more flex, balance, the strength and all that would come. Right. That's what to do. Right. And then you say, oh, and then, you got to be consistent. If you would just do this, you only have to do this 3 days a week, 30 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And then yoga, bam, there it is. Right. Like, then, oh, by the way, I've got this 8-week training thing to get you in the best shape of your life doing yoga. And I even throw in a nutrition guide for free. So basically what I did there was I just took your niche and we just said, like, you're supposed to do. Oh, by the way, here's a plan to do exactly what I just told you you're supposed to do. Okay. And then that's what you said. And by the way, you will fail if you don't have some kind of accountability like a coach, and people who exercise together are 50% more likely to succeed.
We
So
just totally made that up, but
yeah, I know, right? That's pretty much your webinar. That's pretty much your thing, and that's the pitch at the end. So whatever you tell them what to do, you have to have a product that shows them how to do it. You sell it to them, you're good. You can automate it, and then you just start promoting it. Like the 3 things you must do to be healthier this year or whatever.
I think in that space especially, it's really important to have social proof, like someone that you've helped, like, and you can prove that. And also it's really, really important to the benefit, like what problem are you solving? And it's got to be a major pain point. It's not about health and wellness, it's more about losing weight, that type of thing. As far as like pain points go, just make sure you're speaking to the correct pain point. All right, that is the final question for today. We do have one success story here. The Lesters. Gina says, I'm so excited. My virtual summit registration kicked off today. I have 16 recorded, and all the promotional items are in place and kicking off. Speakers are on board and promoting as well. I'm excited to see how it is going to take my business to the next level.
That's awesome. We've been working on that like crazy with Gina and Lester. They were in our Voxer S&J All Access Mastermind program. And this virtual summit kind of came out of left field. We were just talking about it one day, and we were like, "What?" I was like, "What about a virtual summit?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" We started talking about it and how everybody basically you get a bunch of speakers, everybody shares the emails, and man, this thing blew up and got bigger than we ever thought it could be. So I am really excited, Gina, to see what happens with this as well. Also, super excited to see every one of you in Lexington, Kentucky in September at Flip Your Life Live 2019. We have 6 VIP tickets left. I've not looked during the call, so if anybody's bought one, there might be another one gone. But we have 6 VIP tickets left, and tickets are on sale right now to Flip Your Life community members and the waiting list only. But we will make those available to the general public on our email list next week and on social media. And then I think like January 8th is the podcast. Announce it to the world that anyone can sign up. Here's the link. Let's go. And
But
let's
we
fill this
want
thing
you
up.
guys to have the first
Yes.
opportunity to get a ticket. We are hoping for a sellout because we want as many people as possible to be able to experience this event. So,
And it really is an anchor on your calendar, guys. And it's so unique to go in person and meet everybody. It's like sleep. If you sleep 8 to 10 hours, everything else in your good. You're going to work out better. You're going to eat better. You're going to feel more energized and enjoy more quality time with your family and your kids. But like meeting people in person and having that goal together makes everything you do in the community, everything you do in your business more powerful. And when you leave that place and you know all these people and you've hugged the people that you're talking to in the forums, it just changes the dynamic of everything business in your life. So
if you're going, put it in your signature in the community because people like to see who's going, and it's just fun to
we got a bunch of
going.
people on the call today that are going to be at Flip Your Life Live. We would love to see every one of you there at Flip Your Life Live. Get your ticket now. If they sell out, the room only holds so many people. So don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. Get it now. Get it out of the way. If you need payment plans, we've reduced the cost this year, so it is cheaper to go. The hotel is cheaper to go. The city's cheaper to go to. And we tried to make it as accessible as possible to as many people as possible because live events change lives. And this live event has already changed a lot of lives. We wanted to change yours too. Okay.
Have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
I just got texted. Sorry.
What are you doing?
All right, guys. I was looking at something. I was sorry, guys. I got texted. Just
okay, that was.
We have people
weird.
in our house texting us right now that are staying here, so I was making sure that none of my our kids didn't like fall into the lake or burn something down. All right, guys. Sorry about that weird delay, but hope to see you at Flip Your Life Live. Hope to see you on the next member call. Till next time, do whatever it takes to flip your life.
Bye.